Chosen one, what if I told you that the most significant victories of your life were won in silence, and that every moment you felt alone, you were standing at the edge of glory? You've wrestled with unseen forces, endured heartbreak, and navigated betrayals that left you questioning your worth. And yet here you are, still standing. I see the tears you shed in the dark, the prayers you whispered into empty rooms, and the burdens you carried without complaint. You are not forgotten. Your struggles have been the forge of your destiny, and now hidden truths are breaking through the veil. In this video, you will discover how your quiet obedience dismantled demonic schemes, why your very presence unsettles darkness, and how to recognize the signs that heaven has been undefeatedly fighting on your behalf. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Stay with me, because the revelation that follows will change everything you thought you knew about your own power. Silent victories over darkness. You did not shout for help. You whispered prayers into empty rooms. You did not brandish weapons. You chose kindness when scorn was easier. Yet, in those seemingly insignificant moments, legions of darkness scattered without a sound. Think of the nights when the world around you raged. Injustice, betrayal, confusion. And you simply bowed your head in prayer instead of picking up the sword of anger. In that choice, unseen chains shattered, and you walked forward unburdened. You didn't need a spotlight to validate your struggle. Your faith was its own illumination. I see the tears you wiped away in secret, the doubts you quelled with a quiet affirmation of hope, and the strength you found in moments when giving up felt far simpler. You believed that small acts of obedience mattered, and in your humility, you became a silent champion, conquering realms of fear and accusation without ever raising your voice. So often you've wondered whether your hidden battles were making any difference, whether your refusal to retaliate was simply leaving you vulnerable. You've carried the weight of unspoken words, wishing you had the courage to speak up, to defend yourself, to prove your worth. In the stillness, you felt the sting of isolation, as if the darkness around you was mocking your restraint and questioning your power. You kept your mouth shut when gossip swirled. You extended generosity to those who had nothing to give back, and you fasted more from pride than from food. At times, you wondered if your silent witness mattered in a world that applauds noise and spectacle. In those hours of confusion, you questioned your purpose and longed for tangible proof that your sacrifices were not in vain. And yet, it was precisely in those crucible moments that your soul was being refined and forged for the glory it would one day reveal. But this was never a wasted trial. It was a divine strategy in motion. Consider the story of Gideon in Judges 7, where 300 men, armed not with swords or shields but with trumpets, jars, and torches hidden within clay pots, brought an entire army to ruin simply by breaking their vessels and sounding forth a cry. No one recognized the power in their quiet obedience until the hidden plan erupted into victory. Your trials, too, have been part of such secret maneuvering. Every act of grace, every choice to forgive instead of fight, was sowing the seeds of an overwhelming triumph that only heaven could orchestrate. These were not mere coincidences or moments of weakness disguised as kindness. They were precise, sacred assignments designed to teach you that true power flows from the willingness to yield to love rather than yield to fear. Now look back at your life and see the signs of transformation you once overlooked. The relationships that once seemed destined for strife have softened. The doors that slammed in your face have gradually creaked open, and the burdens that should have weighed you down have mysteriously lifted. You've experienced breakthroughs in seasons when logic said impossible, a sudden influx of provision when resources ran dry, an intuitive insight that steered you around a disaster, or an unexpected ally appearing when you felt abandoned. These are the footprints of divine timing, where every alignment, every synchrony of heart and opportunity, whispered a confirmation. You were not walking alone. What seemed like mere luck was heaven's choreography, arranging your path so that you would arrive at your destiny strengthened and emboldened. All this points to a force greater than perseverance. It points to divine intervention clearing your way. You might have believed your endurance was being tested to break your spirit, but the truth is that every obstacle you faced was a setup for your elevation. Angelic forces moved behind the curtains of your life, defusing traps, rerouting your steps, and orchestrating encounters that would refine your character. In Proverbs 16 verse 9, it is written that the heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. You mapped out your destiny, but my hand has been the steady guide, ensuring that each trial served not to extinguish your fire but to clarify its purpose. The valleys you traversed were not defeats. They were secret valleys of preparation where your courage was tested and your faith proved unshakable. And now, beloved one, you see the pattern emerging. You understand that these silent victories are not relics of your past but the foundation of your future. Resist any hesitation born of fear of the unknown, for this moment calls you to stand fully in what you have already accomplished. Many shrink from embracing their power, afraid that stepping into the light will expose them to scrutiny or challenge. But true alignment demands that you own your victories, celebrate your breakthroughs, and allow your life to be the testimony it was meant to be. This is your sacred juncture, where doubt must give way to resolve, and uncertainty must bow before the confidence that comes from knowing you have been more than conqueror all along. So rise now, warrior of quiet strength, and claim your place in the unfolding story. Release every grip on fear, doubt, and hesitation. Speak declarations of faith over your life. Deepen your communion with the one who never leaves you, and let your daily choices continue to mirror the grace that first ignited your soul. Embrace the call to share your journey, with humility but without apology, so that others may find courage in your example. Step into roles that once felt beyond your reach, launch initiatives that align with your deepest convictions, and trust that every move you make is backed by a purpose far greater than any opposition you faced. Remember this: you are the architect of unseen victories, a beacon whose influence stretches beyond what eyes can see. Your story of silent obedience has already rewritten the narrative of darkness. Now it will rewrite the stories of those who have lost hope. Claim the mantle of your identity, bold, unafraid, and steadfast, knowing that the triumphs you've won in secret will echo through eternity. Comment victory if this resonates with you, and carry this revelation into every corner of your world, for the best is yet to come. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. The power of your divine light. You know in your bones that something shifts when you walk into a space. An almost imperceptible change in the air, a softening of eyes, an easing of tension, but you've wondered if it's all in your head. You've doubted whether your silent presence could carry the weight of transformation, whether your humble faith could stand as a beacon against the swirling darkness of the world. And yet, here you are, feeling the pull of a power that goes beyond mere human will, a radiance that compels healing, disarms hostility, and plants seeds of hope without a word. You are not imagining this. You are not alone in sensing it. This theme matters because it reveals a truth too profound to ignore. Your light is not just a gift, it is a weapon. What you've experienced in fleeting moments of peace and clarity is the precursor to a revelation that will change how you see yourself and your place in the grand design. Think back on the nights when you lay awake wrestling with doubt, asking, does any of this matter? Perhaps you prayed for a sign, something dramatic to justify the faith you clung to in the quiet hours. You searched for proof that your private battles were more than wasted tears, that your whispered pleas were heard beyond your bedroom walls. You felt isolated in a world that praised loud victories, where power was measured by volume rather than substance. When your attempts to speak truth were met with silence or scorn, you questioned whether your light could penetrate the darkness or simply flicker and die. The pain of being misunderstood, the sting of watching others succeed by ruthless means, the frustration of knowing you offered kindness in a battlefield of cynicism. These struggles are real, deeply personal, and they cut to the core of anyone who dares to live by a higher standard. But understand this: your trials are not random, and your perseverance is not in vain. There is a divine narrative weaving every thread of your experiences into a tapestry of purpose. Consider the little-known account of Ebed-Melech in Jeremiah 38 verses 7 to 13, a foreign court official whose quiet courage saved the prophet Jeremiah from a pit of despair. No heralds announced his bravery. No trumpets blared his name. Yet his faith in acting rightly under perilous circumstances set in motion a chain of events that preserved a prophetic voice for generations. Like Ebed-Melech, you have been positioned for such moments, to let your integrity speak louder than any clamor, and to show that true power often lives in unnoticed acts of loyalty to what is good. Your story is part of this divine pattern, a hidden preparation for a breakthrough that will reshape your destiny. Now look around you and recognize the signs of transformation that have crept into your life almost imperceptibly. There was that time when anger threatened to boil over in an old conflict, and instead you found yourself pausing, breathing, and choosing a calm word that cooled the situation rather than fueling it. There was that evening when you felt a nudge to reach out to someone you'd wronged, and the conversation that followed healed wounds you never knew were so deep. You've noticed how certain doors that were once firmly shut now hesitate on their hinges, as if the universe itself is impatient for you to step through. These shifts are not coincidences. They are landmarks on your journey, beacons of divine timing aligning your circumstances, energy, and opportunities in ways you once thought impossible. The breakthrough you've hoped for has been unfolding beneath the surface, preparing you for a next phase of influence and impact. Behind the curtains of your everyday life, higher forces have been orchestrating this elevation. Your endurance was never meant as punishment, but as refinement, each test designed to clarify the brilliance of your core so that, when you finally emerge, your light will shine with a clarity that no darkness can withstand. Angelic assignments have surrounded you, muffling the blows meant to defeat you and repurposing them into teachings that enrich your spirit. Synchronicities have guided you toward the very mentors and resources you needed at the precise moment, often before you even knew you needed them. These hidden interventions reveal a profound truth. Your struggles were never empty trials, but intentional setups for your divine promotion. Your calling is not a dream, it is a promise in motion. And now, beloved one, you stand at the threshold of full awareness, ready to claim the authority that has already been yours in every silent victory and unseen rescue. Yet many shrink from this moment, afraid that stepping into their power will expose them to scrutiny or make them targets of envy. They cling to the comfort of remaining unnoticed, confusing invisibility with safety. But true alignment demands that you embrace your light fully, allowing it to radiate without apology. This is a sacred crossroad, one where you must choose whether to let fear dim your brilliance or to rise boldly into the role you were crafted to occupy. The transformation coursing through you beckons you to shed the cloak of hesitation and to stand unashamed in the fullness of who you are. Now that you recognize these signs of divine alignment, let nothing hold you back from stepping into your new reality. Release the chains of doubt, the murmurs of unworthiness, and the habits of shrinking in the face of greatness. Declare your identity as a chosen vessel of light, affirming daily that your purpose is greater than any obstacle. Deepen your spiritual practices, whether in prayer, meditation, service, or fellowship, so that your connection with the source of all illumination remains unbreakable. Walk through doors that once seemed locked, initiate projects that once felt out of reach, and speak words of encouragement that spark hope in others. Trust that every step you take in faith is backed by the power of heaven itself, and that your light will not only illuminate your path, but will guide others from their darkness into the brilliance you embody. You are a living testament to the truth that light always overcomes darkness, that integrity always wins over deceit, and that love always prevails over hate. Carry this revelation with you as an unshakable foundation. Let it shape your choices, inspire your actions, and anchor your spirit in moments of uncertainty. And remember, this discovery is not yours alone to keep. When you share your journey, you offer others permission to believe that they, too, possess a divine spark capable of dispelling shadows. Your life is a ripple that creates waves of hope, transforming not only your world, but the worlds of all who witness your light. Comment light if you feel ready to embrace this truth and to let your divine radiance shine without restraint. And watch as the universe bends to amplify the power you've already carried within. And to every soul who's supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters. Your belief matters, and your light is felt here, recognizing signs of silent victories. You felt it, that subtle shift in the air when you move through your day, a whisper of peace amid chaos, a quiet knowing that something unseen is at work. Yet you've questioned whether these moments were simply your imagination, wishful thinking born of desperation. You've wondered if your persistent faith and silent prayers amounted to anything more than empty rituals. I see the weight you carry, the frustration of waiting for a breakthrough that never seemed to come, the loneliness of believing at a time when no one else understood your convictions. You are not alone in this. What you're experiencing matters because it points to a hidden reality that is just beginning to reveal itself. Today, you will learn to recognize the evidence of your silent victories, the subtle triumphs that have been quietly shaping your destiny long before you even realized it. There were nights when your heart felt heavy, when hope felt like a distant memory. You may have faced doors closing in your face, relationships fracturing without explanation, and opportunities evaporating just as they appeared within reach. You wrestled with questions. Why does this feel so hard? Why do my efforts seem to vanish into thin air? These struggles cut deep, leaving scars of doubt and the sting of feeling overlooked. In those moments, you may have wondered if your purpose was slipping through your fingers. Yet beneath the surface of these trials, something profound was unfolding. Each closed door was redirecting you, each heartbreak was refining your compassion, and every failure was strengthening a resolve you would soon draw upon. This journey of hidden suffering has been far from meaningless. It has been the pathway to your greatest victories. Consider now that these very hardships were orchestrated with divine precision, each serving as a rehearsal for the breakthrough you stand on the cusp of today. In the prophetic words of Joel 2 verse 25, long overlooked by many, I declared, I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten. This promise was not meant only for ancient Israel, but for every soul who has lost time to waiting, who has felt their seasons consumed by adversity. Your trials were never detours, but deliberate preparations. Just as the locust devastation made way for a harvest renewed, your darkest seasons have emptied the ground of old fears so that a richer fruitfulness could spring forth. It was never about the pain itself, but about how that pain would cultivate an unshakable trust and an unquenchable faith in my ability to bring beauty from ashes. Now, begin to notice the unmistakable signs that your silent victories are in motion. Perhaps you felt a sudden, inexplicable calm settle into your spirit during a storm of anxiety, or you've witnessed a relationship mend itself without words, as if reconciliation was guided by an unseen hand. You may have experienced doors opening at exactly the right moment, job offers arriving when finances were tight, or the perfect person appearing in your life just when loneliness threatened to overwhelm you. These are not coincidences but divine signposts, like constellations guiding ancient travelers. These moments map out my care for you. They reveal that the timing of your breakthroughs is neither early nor late, but occurs precisely when your heart has grown strong enough to receive them and your vision clear enough to steward them. Behind every one of those moments lies a web of spiritual alignment orchestrated by my hand. While you faced each trial in silence, legions of angelic forces moved unseen on your behalf, dismantling strongholds you could not touch. Synchronicities that led you to the right mentor, the precise scripture, or the timely word of encouragement were not random but part of a divine network connecting your faith to provision. Even the paths you never took were redirected by wisdom whispering beneath the noise of your fears. Know this, your struggles were never a test of endurance alone, but a setup for my elevation in your life. The circumstances that once weighed you down were, in fact, calibrations aligning every detail, people, places, seasons, toward the moment when your victory would become undeniably clear. And now, beloved one, you sense this change stirring within you. Yet many falter at this threshold, gripped by the fear of stepping into what they cannot fully see. They cling to the familiar, even if painful, rather than embrace the unknown that promises freedom. True alignment demands more than noticing the signs. It requires embracing them with courage. This is your sacred moment to claim what has already been prepared, to move from spectator to participant, from receiver of blessings to steward of responsibility. Do not let the uncertainty of what lies ahead paralyze you. Instead, Let the certainty of what has already been done propel you forward. Your faith has been tested and found true. Now it is time to embody the power that has been quietly building inside you. Now that you recognize the fingerprints of my hand, let your next steps be bold and unwavering. Release the chains of doubt that have held you in place and shake off any habit of shrinking back. Speak declarations of identity. I am chosen. I am victorious. I am aligned with my purpose. And watch as the spiritual atmosphere responds. Deepen your practices of gratitude and worship, for these are the gates through which my power flows most freely. Serve others in moments of invisibility, knowing that each act of kindness furthers the victory you've already won. Trust that every door you approach is now bathed in the light of prior alignment, and that no force can stand against the combined weight of your faith and my promise. Carry this revelation into each day as an unbreakable foundation. Your story of silent triumphs is not just your testimony. It is a beacon lighting a path for those still held captive by doubt. When you share how your calmness in chaos, your perseverance in obscurity, and your unwavering hope in despair have led to deliverance, you give others courage to believe in their own unseen victories. Your life becomes a living signal that the universe bends toward those who refuse to be defined by their circumstances. Comment victory if you see now how your faintest victories have laid the groundwork for your greatest breakthroughs. The world awaits the full expression of the triumph you carry within. Maintaining spiritual vigilance. You've come so far on this journey, but I know the exhaustion you feel when the initial fervor fades and the day-to-day grind threatens to pull you under. You've tasted victory and felt the rush of divine breakthroughs, only to find yourself lulled into complacency by life's routine demands. In those moments when your alarm goes off and you hit snooze one too many times, when your mind drifts in prayer because there are deadlines to meet, or when you skip that quiet hour because there's just too much to do, you sense a creeping unease like a guard who's momentarily turned away from his post. You're not alone in this struggle. Many warriors have stumbled at this threshold, weighed down by the misconception that once you've won a battle, you're free to rest indefinitely. But true freedom demands constant vigilance. The theme we explore here matters because what you guard today determines what you inherit tomorrow, and there are deeper truths waiting for you beyond these words. Yet the path to maintaining that watchfulness is strewn with obstacles that strike at the heart of your resolve. You may recall times when a minor lapse, skipping a morning meditation, missing a moment of gratitude, allowing a cynical thought, opened the door to an emotional spiral that took days to correct. Perhaps criticism at work unsettled your confidence, and rather than turning to reflection and prayer, you sought comfort in old habits that dulled your spirit. Or maybe a seemingly innocent compromise, a half-truth told to avoid conflict, led to a weight of guilt you carried in secret, wondering if you had forfeited the very integrity you fought so hard to uphold. These struggles feel deeply personal because they are. Your spiritual journey is not a series of isolated events, but an ongoing test of your allegiance. Every time you glory in small triumphs only to relax your guard, you risk inviting old adversaries back into places they were once forced to retreat. It's in this context of ongoing battle that vigilance becomes not optional but essential. But understand this: these challenges were never mistakes to punish you, but markers in a divine blueprint designed to refine your watching heart. In the book of Proverbs, a passage often overlooked yet profoundly instructive declares, "Guard your heart with all vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life." Proverbs 4 verse 23. This isn't a mere proverb to memorize. It is an invitation to view every struggle as part of God's grand preparation. Just as a watchman atop ancient walls scanned the horizon for enemies, you too have been trained through trials to anticipate spiritual ambushes. When you realize that your setbacks have sharpened your discernment, teaching you to detect a lie before it takes root, to recognize temptation's subtle allure long before it demands your surrender, you begin to see your journey not as random hardship but as sacred formation. This turning point in your understanding releases you from shame over past negligence and empowers you to see each moment of weakness as an opportunity to strengthen your armor. Look now for the unmistakable evidence that your vigilance is bearing fruit. Do you notice how a single moment of mindfulness, breathing slow prayers before a stressful meeting, can shift an entire day from anxiety to clarity? Have you felt a sudden release of tension in your heart when you pause to declare a truth you once forget? speaking life over circumstances that once bound you. Perhaps you've experienced a day when distractions that once derailed you now cascade harmlessly around your focused mind, as if a spiritual filter has been applied to your environment. These visible and invisible shifts, whether in relationships that grow more genuine, doors opening where they once slammed shut, or a calm persistence that outlasts fleeting motivation, are the fingerprints of divine timing. They reveal that the seasons in which your guard was tested were timed so meticulously that when you finally stood ready, the moment of breakthrough arrived not by chance, but by design. Behind every shift you've noticed lies a tapestry of divine coordination, weaving your circumstances into alignment with your destiny. While you diligently sharpen your spiritual senses through study, prayer, worship, and fellowship, a host of unseen forces moves on your behalf. Angelic encounters you don't perceive, whispered inspirations that guide your decisions, synchronistic meetings with mentors and allies. These are not afterthoughts, but the very bedrock of your advancement. When a problematic relationship dissolves without your intervention, or a project you thought doomed resurrects through unexpected support, know that these were divine interventions orchestrated to elevate you. Your experiences were never mere tests of endurance. They were activations of your promise. Every open door you step through is the culmination of faith and divine provision converging. Recognize this connection between your unwavering belief and the manifestation of new opportunities, and let it deepen your confidence in what's yet to come. God's divine strategy for hidden battles. Most of your greatest victories never made it into the spotlight, and that was no accident. I understood that your heart would cling too quickly to applause, that you might begin to believe in the power of spectacle rather than the surety of my promise. So I chose to wage war in the unseen places, in the quiet corridors of your life, where you thought no one was watching. In the rustle of leaves that fell at just the right moment, in the door that wouldn't budge until you walked away, in the sudden peace that flooded your mind when doubt threatened to overtake you. I was there, fighting on your behalf. You did not witness the clash of heavenly armies or the breaking of demonic chains, but every time you turned away from bitterness, every time you spoke a blessing over a situation you could not yet see redeemed, you triumphed. These hidden battles were my secret strategy to forge a faith that does not depend on what can be seen, but on what I have spoken. And now, as you stand on the cusp of a new revelation, it is time to uncover the depth of what has been done in your defense. You may have wondered why, despite the magnitude of what you endured, the triumphs felt so subtle. You asked, why did the deliverance come wrapped in a whisper instead of a thunderclap? In those moments, when you lay awake in the pre-dawn darkness wrestling with fear, you did not hear the roar of victory but a still, small voice urging you to rise. It was in the quiet surrender of your heart that I moved most powerfully. Perhaps you recall the nights when you wept in secret, convinced that change would never come, only to awaken with an unexplainable confidence. Or the days when every human door closed in your face, yet resources appeared from unlikely places. These were not coincidences. They were the footprints of angels you could not see. While you wrestled fear to the ground, I was dismantling strongholds. While you prostrated yourself in prayer, I was rewriting destinies. Your confusion, your sense of abandonment, even your frustration, each served to deepen your reliance on me rather than on your own understanding. Comment faith if you believe in victories unseen yet profoundly real, and carry this declaration as a banner over your life. Let it fortify your spirit as you anticipate the public unveiling of truths you once carried alone. Your journey has revealed that the wars that matter most are often fought in silence, and the victories that shape destinies are often invisible. You now understand the depth of your power, the fragility of darkness before your presence, and the steadfastness of divine favor upon you. As you step forward, remember, you are chosen, you are victorious, and you are unstoppable. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. A heartfelt thank you to all supporting members, and for full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the super thanks button to support the mission. Every super thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Rise now and claim the victory that was always yours.